But of course, we are going to jump right in and start with Atlanta because we love a nice little alphabetical list, and we'll send it over to Atlanta's biggest fan.
I don't think the quotes were necessary.
Está
Definitely,
plástico.
I'm not Plastico.
Está plástico.
No, I was there before Joseph was there. I'm just gonna say that.
You couldn't have. He was like their first signing.
No, he wasn't their first signing because I was
Maybe he
around when
was.
they signed Villalba, and Villalba came before Joseph, I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Anyway, um, so Atlanta's had a short history. A lot of it's been very good. So it's a little bit hard to pick guys that have necessarily flopped. I think there's two guys that kind of haven't lived up to expectations that I think you can go with, and it's got to be PT or Barco. Um, I went with Barco in this case. He went for a fee, at least according to Transfer Market, of 13.32 million. I don't know if that includes possible future incentives or whatnot, but obviously huge fee, especially for MLS. Um, Me picking Barco doesn't mean that he's a bad player, and it doesn't mean that he could stay not living up to expectations. He could easily turn it around and become more successful. But I think thus far he just hasn't lived up to the hype that he had when he was first joining the team. When Atlanta were looking to get him, the hype for Barco was unreal. Like not even just in MLS, just around the world. I mean, he was. I know it's not necessarily the best metric to use to measure, but he had one of the highest potentials on FIFA in the entire world. So obviously, there was something there for him, and the fact that he decided to come to an MLS team, which is just crazy. Um, the first year with Barco on the team, he finished with the 14th highest rating on Who Scored, which was behind even Chris McCann. So you can't exactly say
Legend.
that's a great season for him. And he had I don't know if you guys remember it, but the off the field issues with Brandon Vasquez, definitely not helping live up to expectations there. And then last year, he finally started to play better. And he started to fill out that potential, and then he got hurt. So then he missed most of the season. So I'd say the potential is still there, but as of right now, he hasn't shown enough to really justify that price tag.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to add to that is that even before he got hurt, he was benched. I think he fell out of favor with DeBoer, and probably because of some of the off the field stuff. But he wasn't even in the first team before he got hurt because he got hurt on international duty for the U20s of Argentina, right? Or
He did get
U23s
hurt,
maybe.
but he had games that year, so
No, he played. So he played, and then he fell out of favor. Then he got hurt on international duty. I think he played once when he came back, got healthy. Yeah, I also went Barco here. The other thing I want to add is that he went for like 13.5 mil to play 45 games, score 8 goals. He was wasn't he a record signing for the league at that point?
Mm-hmm.
Really
probably.
promising, and he just never got never got his legs under him. I can honestly see him leaving in a year or two, no real contribution to the team, and Atlanta will probably take a loss on him. But because Pitti has played a lot more games, and he really did have a nicer year last year, even though DeBoer straight up benched his ass. He just is better than what Barco has given to the team, and Barco has been here longer. And honestly, it's a shame that the season had to go down because Barco looked like he was starting to start off real hot again. And
Yeah.
This might have been his year, but since we have no season to go off and we're only going off those 2 years, Barco bust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I took this list a bit differently. So I not only looked at the people who obviously flopped on the field, but if there was a bad transfer just in general, whether it was in or out, just because of the transfer itself, I kind of factored that in. So the two names I wrote down, one was Breck Shea. Connor, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but when I saw you guys got Breck Shea, I was like, what? Like, what a signing! That's him bombing down that left side of Atlanta, whipping balls into Josef. Fantastic! Like, watch out the rest of the Eastern Conference, and then it hasn't really happened, at least as far as I thought it would. The other one, I didn't actually know he was technically an Atlanta player. It's Sean Johnson.
Yeah, we talked about. Oh, you
Yeah,
weren't
for
here for this
like a
conversation.
little
Yeah,
bit.
I missed that week.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
He
you
was,
weren't
he
here for
was
this
an Atlanta,
conversation.
he was an Atlanta player for all of like 6 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He came in and got switched right away.
Yeah,
That's an interesting take. I don't know if I'd call him a flop because he never played.
so it wasn't a flop. It was a bad transfer, is what I kind of labeled it as.
I disagree. I think it's a good transfer because it helped them get resources, and they brought in Guzan anyway.
So that yes, but the reason I put him in is Guzan isn't getting younger. They probably could have afforded him anyway. And then once he retires, Sean Johnson becomes the clear number one for the next 10 years.
I don't think Sean Johnson goes to Atlanta to be the backup for 5 years when he's starting at City or starting in Chicago. I'd start in Chicago before I back up in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's just me.
But I saw his name come up and I was like, I did not know that was a thing.